Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's that special time again where we all gather, come together as one. Where we all sit and gather and listen to the words of bgst. Now let me ask you fine folks this. Do you know where you can find Big Gamer Small Talk? I'll tell you where you can find it. You can find it on nxtgen720's YouTube channel. You may even find it on the Crab Gamers. I don't know. Maybe something crazy will happen and you'll find it on that fine brother's channel, Xbox 448. Maybe you can make a 405. Team Dog, he might be there too. Crystal! Who's that? Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we gather together at Sundays at 7 p.m., it's time. What time is it? It's time that we put our hands together and clap for Big Gamers, Small Talk, brothers and sisters, BGST!
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, YouTube? We're back with the weekly podcast, BGST. Actually, we got together last week. We haven't done it in Sunday in a while. These guys got their schedule fixed out, cleared out. I feel important. We got some things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Detroit 2 Human, Sea of Thieves, Xbox Controller, Super Lucky Tail, and this next gen turned it into a pony.
Oh, so we already know what's going on.
Click them hooves, man. Click them.
We're going to talk about this today.
Click them. We need Showstopper here to go ahead and run.
They said I need to be reprogrammed. You know what I mean? I have to be sent back to the factory and be reprogrammed. You know what I mean? Get my shit together. We're going to talk about it today, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Be so confused. Like I said, hit the like button. We have a little fun today. Crap his joint yet?
Nope. Yeah. What happened?
Yeah. There it is.
Oh, yeah, man. I had it set up too.
Oh, okay. Well, there it is. So, as the room is filling up, Tim, what's going on with you, good brother? I haven't spoken to you in a while.
Just working. We got that big storm.
Yes,
pretty crazy. I mean, you're in Jersey, so you got hit with it too. But
yeah,
that was some crazy storm. We still got people out of service. To areas that's still blacked out. Yeah, I mean, there's like on where I live around. There's just 7-Elevens that have been out since 7-Eleven, just like totally blacked out. So the storm was pretty bad. So I've been working in it.
Okay. Other than that, what you been playing? Anything?
Yeah, I've been playing Wolf Among Us, and I've played some of the backwards compatibility games that came out.
Nobody uses backwards compatibility games, you liar.
Yeah, I basically the free, native 4K, unbelievable looking games that we get for free. You can't deserve enough praise because play Forza Horizon. You can arguably make it say it looks better than Forza Horizon 2. Really amazing stuff that they're doing, and it's free. You know, people are pumped up about paying for Shadow of Colossus and paying for Demon Souls and all these other Burnout. I mean,
don't forget about that hit that's coming soon, Medieval. Woo.
Yeah. I mean, when you get these games, and it ain't
somebody was asking for that.
You know, there's going to be a lot of games that get remastered or whatever get enhanced. So, I've been enjoying that, but I've been playing Wolf Among Us because I really don't have a lot of time. So I've been just playing a simple game like that, and I have to say it's a very good game.
All right. Crap game, the crap game. What's going on with you, good brother?
Man, it's my birthday week, man. My birthday tomorrow, so all week I've been celebrating.
Wow, Crap Gamer's birthday.
46, you old bitch.
I would say happy 24-year-old.
55 years old. Crap Gamer.
Well, I remember back in the day, we used to sit there on the porch talking about that Xbox One, DX12.
Back in the day, we used to play this shit out on a
crap. That went too goddamn long ago.
Dude, it feels like fucking forever ago, but yeah, man, it's been a pretty fun week, man. We had the 1 year anniversary of the Nintendo Switch as well. Time flies.
Switch miss.
Yeah, Switch miss, man. Switch gang over here, man. I'm telling you what, man, that is fucking phenomenal console. I love it.
Handheld.
Yeah, it's like I've been doing I've been playing some VR, man. So this game called Moss on PlayStation VR, new game.
with the rat
game. Really, it's a mouse, but yeah.
Whoa!
Master Splinter. He corrected me with he said it wasn't Master Splinter. It was Mickey Mouse. Go ahead, man.
It's a mouse, but yeah, that is it's one of those like full games. So a lot of people are like, well, VR is cool, but there's no full games. Well, this is one of those full games. It's really cool.
So is it like
one of those or the one full game?
There's plenty of full games for it, dude. You can play the entire Skyrim in it, or Doom is a full game. Farpoint's a full game. Arizona Sunshine's a full game. So many full games, man. I mean, there are experiences too, but this is one of them. Just a phenomenal like platformer. It's really, really good. This is, I think, their debut effort as a developer, and they've done a VR game that's managed to score incredibly well. So yeah, really good stuff. Yeah.
I see PSVR went down to $200.
Yeah, for a limited time, man, and people are picking it up. And you know what? I'm getting a lot of messages like, "Crap, you were right, man. It's an unbelievable experience." Because people freak out when they hear you talk, like the way I freak out when people talk about game streaming. I mean, that's not for me. So as long as there's an option not to do that, I'm happy. Like, you're not forced to play VR. It's not. We're never going to be a point where you have to play VR. This is just something of an option for a different type of experience, I
don't know. You see Ready Player One? That's all VR.
I have never seen it, never read it, never heard anything about it.
It's gonna be its own media. It's like getting a new resolution TV coming out or something like that. It's gonna be.
I mean, I don't. The problem is, like, no matter what they do, like even PlayStation VR, if you're under 12, you can't use it. It's like you can't use it. If you get headaches easily, you can't use it. If you're an old person, you can't use it. So there's so many people that can't use it. It's never going to be something that everybody's going to want to go. Like, I wouldn't, if I had people over, I'm not going to want to put a damn helmet on. You know what I mean? It's something
they'll all bust out their phones and start recording you, man.
It's something you do kind of when you're alone or whatever. You just want to play it.
Have you tried out the the Resident Evil?
I tried the demo. But I will not play that full game because that shit's scary.
Where's Hellhammer to make fun of Crack Gamer playing that game? That shit's so funny.
I like it, man. But I've also been playing my Xbox One X too. There's so much to do, so little time to do it. It's like you work to get the games, and then you don't really have the time to play the games that you want. Or I got so much shit to play, to be honest with you. In fact, I just picked up this SNES Mini. They finally got these bastards in stock, and I was like, "What the hell? For my birthday, I'm gonna treat myself." Picked it up.
Got Zelda on that thing, man.
All right, dude, it's got all kinds of shit.
Zelda and Super Metroid are all I care about, though.
Man, but you can't sleep off of. Let's see, this has got Donkey Kong Country and Super.
Hey, does that have Super Mario All Stars on it?
I don't.
Probably not.
Think so.
Fail.
Super Mario RPG. And Super Mario World, some of my favorites, man. F-Zero, Street Fighter 2.
Super Mario All-Stars was the first console remaster game. Just remember.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, yeah, because it also had Super Mario 2, the Japanese version, which was basically almost the exact same thing as Super Mario 1, but harder.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Interesting stuff. Good stuff, though, man. They've been having a good time, man. Having a good time. That's
Happy
what I've been
birthday
doing.
to Crap Gamer. Woo!
For sure, man. I got lots of stuff, man. Funny enough, it was a very Nintendo birthday in terms of shit that I got for myself, man. It was like I got those new 2DS XLs. Those things are hot, man. I got one of those in a couple games. I got some Switch games.
Hey, you need to get your goddamn skateboard in the back.
Yo, crap. You kind of worried me there when you said Nintendo birthday. I thought you just unwrapped the gifts and kept the cardboard, and you thought that was your
man,
gift.
I would get Labo, but they ain't got that shit in my size, man. I want to be a big robot. I want to be, but I can't because they don't make it in my size, man. I should probably sue and tell them I'm offended, but
yeah, you know what? That is true. We should unite.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah. What about the big people? Right? Like, big people should be able to dress up in cardboard.
Exercise with video games when your shit doesn't fit us, motherfucker.
Exactly. I couldn't even ride Tony Hawk's skate.
I'm not. My big ass is not putting on any damn cardboard and walking around. To hate, I'm not doing for nothing. Thank God Nintendo is worried about the small people.
Did you complete it in VR? $2. I mean,
yeah.
Was this a movie?
I bought a shit ton of VR. They had a big sale, man. I spent about $80-$85 for new VR games, man. I think I got something like 75.
Fucking pony.
I Hey Tim, you know what? I would fucking spend that much on VR for Xbox if they would do it.
Well, you gotta get that money ready for after
like
E3 this year.
Yeah, they're gonna do it.
It's very surprising that you are such a proponent after.
Because I bashed it, right?
Yeah. Well, you thought you didn't like it. You thought.
Yeah.
You have the same type of trepidation that I do, that it'll make you sick. But you know,
some games do, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rand played it and he almost fucking died the next day. He had like the sickest headache he's ever had in his life. He got physically sick. So for some people, I think it depends on the person. But I'm a little. I'm a little afraid. Now, with the $199, is that the new one or is that the old one?
I'm not sure which one that is, but it's like, you know, like for me, I have the older one, so that doesn't have HDR pass through. I just run 2 HDMI cords that come off the back and a splitter, and then I just plug one in or the other. It takes about a couple seconds to do, but I could do what Mooch did, man. He bought a new one and then took back the old one and was like, yeah, I don't want it.
He fucking swapped it out. I've done that shit too.
I know. Right? I used to do that with headsets on the 360 back in the day because those things used to break so easily.
Yep.
So yeah, like that shit's funny. It's been and there's a lot of rumors floating around now. We get E3 stuff's cropping up already. Yes. We got these backwards compatible 4K games. Super Lucky Tail put out some fire.
Oh shit! God damn it!
They put out that fire DLC.
Was that really that good? Like, why is everyone talking about that?
Well, listen,
people are talking about it. They're hating on it, but I mean, it looks pretty good.
Before we get bottified in here, now listen. This may be the last time y'all see me. I've been. Someone has threatened to render me unconscious in front of my wife and child. And they told me to find my place, coon. I don't know who it is, but I'm scared for my life. All right.
You're getting threats.
I'm getting death threats. I mean, someone threatened to punch me in the face with a closed fist. I mean, to render me unconscious.
Wow. They're gonna pummel you with
listen, it all started over the goddamn video I did, and people went by the title. You know what I mean? I get it from D-Crap Game. It wasn't even clickbait, but I was basically saying that the sales of Horizon Zero Dawn, what was it, 8 million damn near? It did outsell Gears in secret. It's what it is, but it's
I got messages. They're like Z. They're like, get a hold of Z, man. He's going crazy.
No, but they didn't listen to the message in the video. It wasn't really about the goddamn sales. I think Horizon selling extremely well. It's good. I didn't really care for it, but what I was saying, it was huge for them in their install base. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's huge for a couple reasons for Xbox too. One thing is Phil Spencer said, I'm new to this job. I can learn. So he didn't think that those type of games could sell. Now we see that game sold. Mario Odyssey sold. Zelda sold. These single player games have a place. Maybe that'll get him kind of more leverage to get some more of those built from the ground up on Xbox. They are selling.
Yeah, I mean, that's Sony's thing, and I'm not negating that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good for them, man. Congrats.
So basically, what I was saying that Sony and Nintendo does well at catering to their fan base, right? That so the message went totally over their heads, and from that video right there alone, and then the one after they threatened to break my jaw, right? So then we got what do you call it? Detroit 2 Human. Sony came out and announced a date for that, right? And I'm not even saying
downgrade. By the way,
I'm not even saying that's going to be a world beater. But what I was saying was Microsoft's answer that they announced DLC for goddamn Super Lucky Tail, another controller. I'm like, damn.
Downgrade.
That controller is pretty sweet, though.
It is.
Yo, Tim
was on the side. I gotta tell you what, man. Those controllers that Microsoft's coming out with, they're fire, man. I love controllers. I tell you what, they're really tuned in.
I'm saying we do.
So tuned in that you bought the Sea of Thieves controller. So come on, man.
I did, man. I own like 8 controllers.
Come on now.
I have a shitload because I have a shitload every guy.
Well, in all fairness, none of the other controllers have a sweet glow in the dark skull. So
exactly, man.
I'm just saying, don't be sarcastic if you buying controllers. You know what I'm saying? Don't
I'm not
do
being
it.
sarcastic. I love those controllers. Man.
I've bought 2 special edition controllers this generation. And the Sea of Thieves one was my second. So.
I own you'll like this, K-Meg. I own the lock controller, man. I own the lock controller.
That is my PC controller. That is my PC controller.
I thought that one looked better. It looked better than the
Mega, you like this? My wife broke her lock controller.
Y'all said don't snap for the loss. Come on,
I got I got like 8 damn controllers. including the Elite.
My Elite broke.
Sometimes Yeah, well, we're gonna get the Elite 2. That's good news. So,
well, I got
more dollars.
I got. Two
Hey, you know what?
Elites.
Maybe they'll let us customize an Elite. Who
Oh,
knows,
great!
man?
So I could spend
Well,
almost
I think maybe
$300
that's
on one. Fuck that.
I do it.
Customized.
You
Can y'all hear me?
take that shit with
We
you.
hear you.
Yeah, we hear you. We're just talking over you, bitch.
Whoa! See?
We're all being assholes, man. We're all just talking over next gen.
Birthday boy about to get that ass work tonight. Deliciously. Better calm down.
Yo, Mega, you don't know it, but everybody on the panel tonight got paid by the Dark Otter to cut you off constantly. Man.
I know, man.
Go
What's
ahead,
going on, man? He started off with me doing it. No, I'm just saying. I got two Elites. I got the lock controller. Of course, got the controller for the S, for the X, and then I got that Rams controller that I'm not even touching, or the Black Panther controller. I'm not doing that. But the Black Panther controller was not from Xbox, which I think that they should try to work on trying to get that. That was from a
site. Yeah,
that was from a site, and it was $90. But that's it. Now, you know what I'm saying? I'm not getting no more controllers. I'm done. I got plenty.
I don't know.
What
Not
about
till
a
the Elite
Halo
2
6
comes out.
lock
You
controller?
know what's funny about the controller is that the same thing last year, the same Elite Forces controller that was announced had the same type of reaction. Everyone was like, "What the fuck? This controllers? Where's the games?
Yeah.
What is this crap?"
Well,
Everyone when it went nuts on
let
the
me ask
same
you,
one.
Tim. I guess I haven't spoken to you in a while. Now, let me know. I want you to listen, brother to brother. You know what I mean? Am I overreacting? Am I being oppressed? I think that Microsoft.
Listen, if I could be honest with you,
this Nintendo Switch audience with all this kitty witty shit.
Switch miss.
I think that some of the people that do go crazy, I think Xbox has to own some of that. Like, they kind of put themselves in a situation where people are going to go crazy about this type of stuff because they had a rough 2017 or a part of rough 2017. But for me, I don't think that this is something that really. I think this is just part of their, what they do, and you really shouldn't read into it that much.
It's just extra, man. Like,
it's kind of like an extra thing, but I mean, like I said, I think it just barrels down, and we're at that pathetic saying, just wait till E3. Listen, here's the bottom line: they have to deliver in a big way, because this is the type of stuff that is Mindshare. It dives into Mindshare, it hurts them, and they need to change that. That thing out there about them with games and not delivering content. They have to change that.
Okay,
and that's
screw that, homie. Yo, let them keep doing what they're doing. Bring out new controllers. We already know we're getting an awesome lineup this year. I'm interested in E3 to see what's coming on next year, year after that, and stuff like that. If they want to make new controllers, nobody has to buy them. The games are coming.
I don't think the controllers. I don't think what is the issue. My problem was not my problem. But first of all, shout out to Cyrus Burke, who dropped $2,000 super check. Said, "Are we going to talk about the Detroit Beyond Human downgrade?" I didn't even see the new trailers, but we guess we can cover.
Oh, you just got to look at. Did you make that your new avatar, Tim Bryce 2.0?
I didn't make it, but I was actually talked to Bryce yesterday, and we were, he's actually he's a college student now, and he kind of just chilled out with things. But we were laughing hard about that. I was laughing hard about that yesterday because that picture really reminded me of when they started bashing. And let's be honest, and I'll let you speak. That is probably top 3 downgrades I think I've ever seen, from what you saw at E3 to what the reality is. That's
par for the course for Sony.
Yeah, it is, but this is real bad. There's no denying this. Yeah. I remember Infamous. You could definitely Infamous 2. You could definitely see, but it wasn't like this. Is drastic. This is like that video that they showed. I don't know if you saw it. Obviously, saw the picture, but if you look at the video, it's a really big downgrade.
The excuse they're running with now is that they changed the lighting.
Oh, we heard that excuse with the Order 1886 too, but that was a downgrade. But if anybody wants to know about Sony's bullshit, all you got to do is look up Eurogamers. They take a look back at E3 2005, the PS3 reveal. This thing should let everybody know just how much bullshit Sony likes to throw at people.
Yeah.
And they even have sub articles in here that you can click on about how their internal studios were pissed off about the fake CGI renders that they had no idea about because they weren't going to be able to match that with technology. In fact, they determined that you couldn't even match some of those renders with today's technology in gaming.
I always remember watching that, and you guys know I'm a big Xbox fan. I was a big Xbox fan then. When I watched that and I saw it live, I thought to myself, holy crap, I have to have this. This is the most amazing stuff. I think I'm gonna strictly I think I was just like, this totally sold me. This is the most amazing thing that I think I've ever seen in gaming. And it was all bullshit. So I mean,
but see, when they showed that boomerang controller with that console, that's when I knew all that shit was phony.
Yeah, they lied the hell off that generation. They really did. 2 HDMI ports,
yes,
120 frames per second, both of them. I mean, come on.
But the TV wasn't invented yet; they could handle it. So, Also, you have to keep in mind that Rumble was a last generation feature, so they're not going to include that.
6-axis, man, that's the future.
And Sony's not interested in gimmick.
6-axis
like
Nintendo. Terrible.
So
that was the word.
Yeah. You know what was so terrible about that? Like, I remember when I bought my
Moto Storm was awful with that shit.
I bought my PS3 for Metal Gear because I was a big Metal Gear fan, and I also bought my brother I bought the backward compatible one, like the 80 gig, the full $599 one. I bought him the cheaper one with the
Hellhammer.
I bought him the cheaper one, like the 40 gig one or whatever. And his was, oh my god, those 6-axis controllers were just so shitty and light. They felt like little toys. And when you would play a game with them that required them or whatever, it was so bad, like so bad, just really bad. And then you would spend all this money for this console, and it came with PS2 AV cables and no headset for $599. So I had to go get a headset and go get like cables for this thing. And at the time, it was like, I think Monster cables or something were popular or something like that. I don't know. But it was like, so you had to go buy that shit. That shit was like included with the 360. And also, for a much cheaper price.
Disclaimer: back at that time, I had an older high definition television. We're not old, it was 1080i, and the PS3 didn't do 1080i. Then it would downgrade the signal to fucking 480i, 40p. I was like, but like the week later, I got a 1080p television. I was like, what the fuck? This is dog shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did. I got my first high def TV was 720. It was a plasma.
At least it didn't even support my television at launch.
Yeah. So I remember when I got my PS3, I got my plasma TV. And I was like, "Oh, this is great!" Because I just had like a
plasma was great though.
It was, man. I tell you what, those colors pop. Yeah, I just actually got rid of that one. I was keeping it in my closet, and I was like, 720p. God, what did we lose a war? 720p. I'm never going back to that. That's horrendous. 720p. That's unacceptable. Come on.
Well, so I want to ask you a question. So do you have, because I haven't spoken to you in a while. I'm all this guy. So do you think there is a problem, or do you have any concern about maybe the direction that they're heading with the choice of games, the art style and stuff?
For who?
Are you asking Tim or?
Yeah.
Tim?
Me?
Yeah. Just like I'll give you an example, right? Well, you like the games and not like me and Crap was saying, like the graphics, like you got.
Well, you got Crackdown 3, you got cartoony, you got Sea of Thieves, same deal. Forza Horizon's probably going to melt your face off, though.
But it's not the adult title that we all.
I think that I do think that there might be. I hope there's no disconnect, but a lot of the Xbox fan wants a mature game that looks
a realistic looking graphics game.
Realistic.
Like, hey Tim, I brought this up the other day on Crossfire. Maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. And maybe you guys will agree, or maybe you won't. Maybe it's just me thinking something that's not. But when you hear Phil talk about certain things in the culture of Microsoft, and you hear that they said no to Hellblade because it dealt with schizophrenia, or they said no to Heavy Rain because it dealt with like child death and things like that. In the future, their first party anyway, looks like they might be wanting to tone down their games. Right?
That's what I'm concerned of.
If you look at Halo for the first time is T-rated. If you look at Gears, the first half of that game is bots. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's a concern of mine, because then you have racing, which is everybody can do that, and Minecraft is their thing, and everybody can do that. Even Killer Instinct, there's no blood or gore in that. That's a serious concern. If
but yet they're still all great games. Though.
I'm not saying
that's true. But I think that
when they're asking for something, I think are they going to be able to deliver that? Are they going to be able to?
Well, the kid crowd is fully taken by Nintendo, so I think Nintendo would be more open to that type of mindset. Like, maybe keep it off. But Microsoft, if they really want to, look at the demographics of their fans, or the fans that I've interacted are kind of like older gamers that play Manhunt and love those type of games, and the thing is Microsoft is this huge company on top of being a video game company, and that Microsoft name, or the anything around that is very looked upon. So I do worry about that. Yeah, I do worry about that, and I think we're sorely in need of a deep, realistic-looking game that, quite frankly, that Sony does push out a lot of, and they're not as worried about, because they're not put under the microscope. Like what happened with the whole thing with Detroit.
Yeah.
And that controversy, Sony just basically said, I don't give a shit. Now, if that's put in Microsoft's hands, okay, first of all, the reaction would be a lot more, I don't care what anybody says, Microsoft has a bullseye on them. So if this was Microsoft's property, places like Reset Era and journalism would be more hot on the topic. And I can honestly tell you that game might not have released on Xbox today. Hold on 1 second.
Next cut you up, Tim. I don't lose this guy. Von Lamont left $5 in the super chat. He said even if the Detroit has got a downgrade, it still looks better graphically than anything that the Xbox has coming this year.
Yeah, it's a digital storybook. It's a fucking push button and move a cursor.
I don't know. That game does. I looked at that game, and I gotta disagree with that. I think it looks good, but
it should look better.
It doesn't look like what you were promised. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's the first wrong. You should not be kind of misled. I believe they all do it, but there's just a certain level of egregiousness with that. Like that one is like that's top 3 downgrades I've ever seen.
That's on Watchdog. If it's true, that's like Watchdog level. But of course, the Sony faithful, they're not going to talk about that. My whole thing is I'm not big into those games anyway. I know Snaps. She's looking at Detroit. She's interested in getting it. So if she gets it, good for her. And at the end of the day, when it comes to her, she's not going to look at it and be like, well, they were showing like pores and imperfections in the skin when they first showed this, and they're not showing it now. Right. But my whole thing is that game being what it is, being where basically you make decisions and you just walk your person along, and then, it has situations where you got to basically you're making the choices and the decisions for the characters. It's that it's like that horror game on PS4 as well, dude. There's so
Until
much.
Dawn.
Yeah, Until Dawn. There's so much that's not in the gameplay that they better use that extra freaking memory for the game to flesh out the graphics, to make it look as best as it can. I mean,
do you think that most of the graphics that they're going to use is in the cutscenes as opposed to the actual gameplay? Because Sony's
the
into
game should look like a fucking cutscene when all you're doing is hitting A to choose, choice A. Or X to choose choice A and square to hit.
It's like you said, it's a digital storybook.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, man.
It's an overhyped Telltale's game. I mean, that's
pretty. Yeah, you could say that if you're being realistic. But my point overall about what the original question was, the game probably would have been pulled. So what I'm saying is that you're dealing with different type of mentalities here, where Xbox has to be very careful of. Obviously, you heard the speech, and I know Crap was a little critical of some of the stuff he said, heap heating, and some of the stuff that was pushed out there. But Microsoft has to be real, careful there because of their whole brand image. Sony is PlayStation right now. That's all they needed to do good. They need Detroit to come out. Xbox could just say, hey, Detroit, goodbye, take your bags, and you're a failed project because of these controversies and stuff like that. But they're you know, they're held on a different scope. You know what I mean? They have to be, they have to, they have a certain amount of females that are work as Microsoft executives and Xbox. I don't see. Have you ever seen a PlayStation executive that was female? You know, those questions are never brought up.
No,
because it's Sony and they're Japan, and you know they're not under the same type of microscope. Now, if Xbox didn't have Shannon Loftus and she didn't have Bonnie Ross, and they didn't have the girl on Halo, I forgot her name, and they didn't have these women executives, people would be like, "There's a problem here. They're not representing the female people within their division."
right.
That's the type of stuff that goes on with Microsoft, and that's the type of stuff. Now, if they come out with a game that, you know, like Manhunt, which we would love, but that would be a problem within the Microsoft circle.
Well, Manhunt came on the Xbox though.
Yeah, but it's not a first party thing, so they don't really got. I mean,
we saying like so. First of all, pay the bills. Eagles Game 215. He said, "Z, when you coming? When you going to E3? Get your plane scared. I'm scared. I'm scared because one of you motherfuckers is just gonna break my jaw at E3. Hell yeah, I'm scared."
We gotta get him a Pope mobile.
Yeah, for real. But no, it's just a little alarming to me. You know what I mean? It's just the way that, like I've watched it before, right? Bleed green, right? Be the behemoth you are, right? All that slick shit there, right? And
fucking Donnie D.
Yeah, Donnie, my man. 2001, goddamn, I was early 2000. I was a goddamn beta tester from Xbox Line, so a lot of these motherfuckers don't even know what they're playing with the white and black button means. You know what I mean? On the goddamn OG goddamn Xbox controller. But just going for the type of games we had, and I said this back then, you know what I mean, to what we are now is a little alarming. You know what I mean? And that's when they have this disconnect and they're not what their core is. You know what I mean? And I'm not knocking those that like lucky tales.
Well, Fable's not going to be. Fable's not going to be. It's going to look gorgeous, but it's not going to be that adult, mature rated.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be The Witcher. It's going to be more whimsical.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I'll agree with you that there needs to be a wider variety in the portfolio. But when we're talking about games that are coming out this year, games that have been worked on for years and are coming out this year, I think they hit the nail on the head. First of all, you got Crackdown, which is part of a franchise, so you want it to look like part of its franchise. When you look at Sea of Thieves, I can't see Sea of Thieves Rare doing anything any other way than what they're doing with Sea of Thieves.
Gorgeous.
All right. Gorgeous. I mean, we've had more more adult looking games with like Quantum Break, Rise Son of Rome, and we haven't had a lot in that, but we did have games like Sunset Overdrive, which was a lot of fun to play. This year looks really good. I think when it comes down to it, their whole focus now is working on games going into the future. You know, getting that Fable reboot, Perfect Dark reboot, possibly getting Splinter Cell exclusive to here. So I like the library of games that we have had. I see what you guys are saying, but at the end of the day, I think people are making mountains out of molehills in social media and the gamers out there in the community. And I feel like part of it is there's a sway that goes on with whether it's big gaming media, whether it's YouTubers out there, people who have influence in social media that actually prefer one piece of plastic according to the other. They're going to generate a narrative. And a lot of people are going to follow that and not even really know why. Just be like, yeah, I do want that darker, grittier game. Like, yeah, we all do, but don't take away the spotlight of what's going on this year and moving forward either.
Well, yeah, and also don't forget the fact that they're like you. It just seems like all PlayStation games are ultra realistic when that's not the case either. I mean, that's not the case at all. I mean, you got Ratchet and Clank. You also have the other game with the little pictures where you can spray paint. I forgot what the game is, but it's all colorful and there's it's up to the developer of their artistic style of what they want to bring to their game, not so much of what you guys are complaining about. Because if you say, okay, well, we want more realistic games, we want Microsoft to tell these developers to bring more realistic games. So aren't you contradicting yourself? Because in one sense, you were talking about you want 343 and you want Coalition to make their games. But they wanted to. If Xbox is over here telling them that, hey, you can't make another game, then it's wrong for them for doing that. Then it's also wrong for them to tell a creator to that. Oh, you can't make a game like this. We want this game to look ultra realistic. So look, I do agree. I've said this, that they need to have other games to look more like Quantum Break, look like Rise.
Yeah.
But the main problem is that there's nothing wrong with adding more games to the portfolio that they've already been working on for years. And just PlayStation's been working on Detroit for what, 6 years? Even more than that. I mean, that was supposed to be a PlayStation 3 game from my understanding. So look, man, it is what it is.
Okay.
It is what it is. I don't get all the, you know what I'm saying? It's too much complaining about this shit.
I don't think here's the thing. I am from the mindset, if you want things to change, too bad you have to be honest, okay? And being real. And again, I'm not knocking those that may like Super Lucky Tales. Kudos.
Like you keep bringing up Super Lucky Tail. I don't like that game, man.
Okay. So when you got Shannon Lofton saying we don't want goddamn guns in our goddamn games, it's a fucking problem.
Say that?
And then what happened with her? She got moved the fuck over. Yeah.
When did she say that though?
In one of those interviews, someone had sent me the link about guns and being in the game. They just make a game fun of something along those lines.
It didn't say we don't need them in the game.
Yeah, it didn't say.
I actually, but see, in my mindset, I actually agree with her on that because we don't need to fall back on something that's just so.
Damn, grow up here.
Hold on. When did Z? When did Kratos have a gun? When did Kratos have a gun? But God of War is one of your favorite franchises, man.
Right. Thank you. I'm not.
You know how valid that goddamn game is. I'm not. You got to.
But he didn't have a gun. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be a gun.
Different variety of games. Look, that's what I'm saying. You guys talk about cartoon games and this and that, but what the hell was Crap talking about in the beginning of the fucking show? Cartoon games and how much he loves them. It's Nintendo birthday week. Come on, man.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, right?
Look, man,
I understand.
Plenty of games they got plenty of games to work on. I get it, but to just keep throwing this shade of saying that Xbox is it's getting scary out there. It's getting critical because Xbox is not doing what.
I don't think it's a major problem.
Here's how I think about it, right? Like, I feel like Xbox fans do have certain ones that they do have a right to complain a bit. Here's the thing that I see. Like I said, we have a $500 box that's the best console there is, and nothing that we have is really showcasing that it's better than the PS4 Pro. I mean, we get better multiplayer. Sure, yeah, we do. But if you look at them,
that was a huge thing 2 years ago. That was like the biggest thing in the world.
It was. But it's like those games that look great on the X, they're really taking time to make them look great on the Pro too, though. You know what I mean? I mean, there's big differences with like Shadow of War with the textures and stuff. That's a difference.
Even when it was original 2013, the game still looked pretty good on Xbox. It wasn't like glaring. It's definitely better on.
Yeah, that was a whole like made up narrative. Like, yeah,
right.
I get
that's the thing. Yeah. That's part of what I think Xbot alluded to about how the mind share starts to take it and they take it and run with it. None of these things really have a lot of basis on them, under them. A lot of it is just like, Xbox has no games, but now it's released PUBG, Forza 7, Deep Rock Galactic. I know it's not a big game. Sea of Thieves is coming out, and Xbox had no games last year, but they had a huge holiday before that Sony had no games and nobody talked about it. So a lot of times, a lot of this shit that's pushed is just has no basis on it. It's not really the truth.
Yo, Tim. At the end of the day, when people talk about guns and stuff like that, because I see people in the chat saying like Xbox is the shooter box or anything like that, and even Z said, if you want to change something, you basically have to do it, right? So in that instance, if they want to change that whole quote unquote, from the 360 era, everybody was like, oh, it's the dude, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's your Call of Duty machine. If you want to change that, then you are going to expand your portfolio into other things. Personally, I love what they're doing with Sea of Thieves. When it comes to State of Decay 2, they're taking the one feature that people wanted in the first one, and they're putting it into the second one, and they're giving it a bigger budget to perform better.
Three times the size.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Von Lamont dropped another $5 in the chat. He says, Xbot, please explain how Detroit and God of War has a release date before Crackdown 3, which is announced in 2014.
Well, because Crackdown got pushed back. Like, there was no release date that was announced for God of War or for Detroit before that. So it's a lot easier. It's like it's a 3-strike theory. So all of a sudden, Crackdown got his first strike, and now the second one is up. They haven't announced it yet. Now Detroit and God of War, they announced it. Now
you also got to remember that
strike on them, man.
You also got to remember that Crackdown is on a lot different game than what Detroit and God of War is, and what they're trying to do with the cloud and what they're trying to do with the multiplayer. We still don't know what the multiplayer is. Do I think they're going to be using the cloud? I don't think they're going to be using it as much as we originally thought. I think with Crackdown, they have to show something soon. They can't wait till E3.
No. Here's the thing with that, right?
Oh, they're gonna wait till E3 on Crackdown.
It's another E3 is talking about the same shit though.
Here's the thing, though, right? Like with Crackdown and State of Decay 2, you're not going to get any info until Sea of Thieves launches. They're giving a new IP breathing room, and that's smart. Right. Sony didn't have to do that with God of War because it's God of War, so they can go ahead and announce that the following month Detroit Become Human is going to come out, and that's fine. Microsoft doesn't want to go, hey, we're already on to State of Decay 2 before Sea of Thieves even releases. That's not smart. So I get that. I'm fine with that.
You're going to release date shortly after Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, we're going to make this point. Hold on. Let me make this point because, Z, you got to pay the bills again. But name me anything that Sony has given out to the press, to the public, that hasn't been from a conference. They don't release stuff about new games coming out unless they're smaller titles. But they just like Xbox do with third-party titles. But everything that Sony does, they always bring it to you at a conference. If it's not E3, it's at PSX or it's at that Paris Game Show. That's the thing. Now, if you want to make the discussion and make the point about Xbox needing to have another show because we thought the Gamescom was going to be that extra factor where Xbox can show a little bit more, I agree with that. But PlayStation does not release just things over and over again just because they gave a release date for some games that you guys have been waiting for 2 or 3 years. It's the same freaking thing. That's what I'm trying to make the point on. It don't make any sense.
I never freaked out over the announcement of a game that we knew was coming for years.
Well, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Phil has said, like you said, it's a learning experience. Here's one learning experience you can take. You're going to have to announce Fable this E3. And you're talking about 2-3 years out. You're going to have to do something that you said you were against, because at the end
just
of
like
the day,
he's going to have to get third-party content. Like he's gonna realize that he's gonna need that. You know how much better off I know that people hate this game, but how much better off they'd be with a game like having some time content like those maps on Call of Duty. Having that game
Battlefield 5, which
I have heard that they do have a deal with them.
They always have the marketing deal usually.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me pay the bills right quick. The Ruham, I don't have to pronounce that. The Ruham at Z. Wait until E3. Wait till games come, my brother. If you know what I mean. I guess. No.
You know what I mean.
Well, but the question about Crackdown, because I have some comments on that. This is what I've heard. I've heard that the multiplayer portion is kind of done. And right now they are focusing on the single player, really, really expanding it.
Polishing the graphics.
Polishing the graphics. And this is Crackdown 3.
Okay.
I think what's going to happen is going to go like this. Sea of Thieves comes out. A week and a half later, State of Decay is going to have an announced. They're going to have a video, and they're going to have, I think it's going to come out around Detroit, maybe June.
Okay.
Crackdown 3, I don't think you're going to hear about anything until E3. And then E3, they're going to show it, and they're going to show the multiplayer, and it'll be out, I want to say, September. They have to kind of avoid the holiday because they'll get crushed. But there is I know they said early spring. That was basically what happened was last year was Phil was always kind of like a stickler for release dates. And
Silent Hill.
He's firing the alarm right now. No, but he's been a stickler for release dates, and he kind of pushes them and he expects them to be. But he kind of like took a look at the games, and they all needed time. And he's just basically going to give these studios time to make their games the way they're supposed to look. Now, in the case of Sea of Thieves, that game was the smartest delay for them in a while, because that game's going to come out. It's going to be successful. Has enough content that will get them by till the next update. Where beforehand, I think if they released earlier, they wouldn't have the content. They would be chastised. State of Decay, same deal. It's going to come through, and I think it's going to be good. And Crackdown 3, we're all up in the air, hands up in the air. The cloud compute, if that's not used, that's one of the biggest lie Microsoft ever pushed. And
they are using it. I don't know if you've heard this, Tim, but the Sea of Thieves is using cloud compute out the ass. That water physics and water cloud compute out the ass.
Yeah.
So they're really ramping up that cloud stuff, man.
So I mean,
cloud. You look good in Sea of Thieves.
Okay.
So, that's why it looks so good.
Phase.
Crackdown 3 though, to just I think it's possible it could pushed out even. I wouldn't say if they're not ready by September, they have to push out to March, because you can't release that on the Call of Duty month or a heavy hitter month.
If it's not ready for September, they shouldn't even show it at E3.
Exactly.
All right.
I don't think they should show it at E3 anyway. I actually think they should just do. I had heard different things, like there still might be a multiplayer beta.
That's what I was going to say.
And that they're hoping that gets the kind of, because they like that whole viral marketing thing. It doesn't cost them money, right? And everybody's talking about Sea of Thieves, right? Everybody. So and they haven't really done any marketing themselves for that game.
Okay,
it's just all viral marketing. So if they were to do,
let me pay the bills right quick. Phase 114 dropped $5 in the chat. He said when Xbox had serious games with guns, people called it the dude bro system. Now they still sit on Xbox when they don't. Hold up, we got one more. My man Bon Lamont put, and that's Phase 114. Thank you. Xbox was going to have to bring it this year because Sony have their first Red Dead gameplay, Last of Us 2 gameplay, Death Stranding gameplay, E3. Well, yeah, if that is true, that's a lot.
Well, they've been showing Death Stranding for the last 2 years, though. Yeah. So I mean, I'm like, that's the thing. Look, PlayStation fans, you got to give it to the PlayStation fan because they are as patient as hell, and it's just like
they're only patient as hell with one platform.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like you got to give it to the PlayStation fan because they are patient. If we all are true gamers like we say we are, we have a backlog of games that we got to go through and we got to beat. The more games that they keep coming out, look, man, we can't get all these games unless we kamooch them, or if we, you know what I'm saying,
unless we pay $10 a month.
The worst part, the worst part to all this, K-Mega, is there's all these new games that come out, and we're playing them, and then they're like, hey, guess what? We enhanced your favorite games in the fucking 4K, and then you go back and play them, and Crackdown looks godly.
You know exactly. What I mean? Like, The Witcher 2 looks fantastic.
Forza Horizon looks better than Gran Turismo Sport.
See, I got to look at it. I got to look at it and see it. But see, that's the thing that I'm trying to say.
I'm telling you, man.
Bot was telling me that yesterday on next podcast.
It looks better than I think it's better than Forza Horizon 2. Would you agree there?
Yeah, because Forza Horizon 2 was cross-gen to begin with, and but the 4K and just looks great.
Well, hold on. Okay, like the random guy in the chat is saying, K-Mega's telling everybody to be patient. How long are y'all gonna be patient for Kojima's game?
They were patient for 3+ years.
How long was you patient for Uncharted 4? How many delays did that game get? How many delays did that game get? Uncharted 4 got delayed, 4 or 5 times? Come on, guys. Look, I understand that there needs to be some changes to go. Not everything is perfect from what Phil has done. The fact of it is, it's just like what I don't know if it was Tim or if it was Crap that was saying that Phil is learning on the job as well. And the thing of it is that look, for the things that he was a stickler for, he's got to make changes for, because if you want these games to look good and be at the best, then sometimes they're going to need delays. So if you got a huge a huge library of games that you still haven't got through, and then there's all these third parties that's coming, and then there's these up-res games that's coming from X Enhanced. Damn it, you know what I'm saying? Play your fucking games and don't worry about a game that's supposed to be coming 2 or 3 years down the line, because you ain't going to be able to play them anyway. So why do you care about announcements?
Mega, I usually, me and you, because we're on multiple shows together, man, I'm usually good with timing, man. I was off on that one. But check this out. When we're looking at games coming up, and I see people bashing Crackdown in the chat. And here's the thing, guys. you're not thinking about Game Pass. You're thinking in the traditional way that we have been thinking about generations, consoles, and game sales. I can almost guarantee you that Crackdown will be a gem for Game Pass. And when it comes down to it, and Xbox talks about active users and people playing games, I can 98% guarantee you that Crackdown is going to be at the top of that list for people playing games, active user base, because a lot of them are going to be playing it on Game Pass, man, which is fine for Xbox. It's fine for Microsoft. They're still making money off that. The money's still going to the developers. The developers are going to be making new games, and so on and so forth.
They don't even own one of the developers that made that game anymore, by the way.
I got a good question for you. First of all, my man Spectre Status said, "Hey Zaire, you dropped shout out to you, dropped $5 in the chat." He said, "Hey Zaire, these guys in here damage controlling as usual. PlayStation has already finished your pony contract. All we need is your signature." They're gonna pay me to go pony, right? Have some fun.
That motherfucker's paying. That guy wants you on his team so bad.
They're willing to pay.
I'll give you money, Zaire.
Yeah, they want you to do the Iron
Let me give you $5.
I got a question for you guys.
$5.
It says next gen with the success of Monster Hunter on the X, should Microsoft?
Sony fans are cheap as hell, bro. $5. Damn, man. Get some motherfucking bread, guy. Shit,
Scalebound or bringing Scalebound back with the success of Monster Hunter.
0.
Forget Scalebound. Forget it.
Scalebound's dead.
Yeah.
Forget it and let it be a surprise if it comes back. Because like the thing is, Xbox, they own that IP. So if they want to give it to another developer, but I would not even think about it being the same thing that Platinum Games was making at that point in time.
It would be totally different.
I just want to fly a dragon, for Christ's sakes.
Go play Nier or what is that fucking game on?
Yeah, well, that's where the money went to.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
I don't know.
That's where the $5 went to.
I don't know,
see, my thing is, man, I'm getting to I said this in 2017 going into 2018. I know I talked to everybody on this panel, next panel, whatever panel I was on, man. I was like, guys, just be prepared. 2018 is going to be a huge year when it comes to Xbox. And we already seen the announcement of Game Pass, which is a game changer in the industry. I know people are saying in the chat, oh, he's talking about a service. Yeah, I'm talking about a service that everybody else in the industry is going to look up to and be like, damn, they are making cake right there. We got to do the same exact thing, yo.
Nobody else is going to run to do Game Pass.
I don't know about that. I think that Game Pass is a very smart idea.
Real smart.
It's a revenue stream that will help Xbox and all.
They've got to have the content to push it though. Like I've always been, kind of.
If Sony does a Game Pass type of thing, they'll call it the Play Zone.
Sony doesn't need to do Game Pass. Reason why is because
they'll restructure PlayStation Now, and what they would need to do there is add in even more PS4 games, right? I'm not sure if they're going to go day and date in terms of like their exclusives on release, and they have to hack that price. I mean, people are talking about like people on Xbox side playing older games and stuff. What do you guys say to the people in your own community that is shelling out so much money to play PS3 games and streaming at that?
They say nobody's playing this shit anyway, so nobody's using PS now. Nobody wants to stream their video games.
Nobody wants backwards compatibility until it's freaking Shadow Colossus or Demon Souls. I mean,
Medieval.
Medieval. They made their bet with that.
My man, hold on. Spectre said, "Come on over, Z. We got free dental just when you get your jaw broke by one of the bots." God damn, they're making it very tilted on the pony side, man. Well, again, let me ask you guys this then: if Microsoft, just say, if they don't deliver come E3, right?
It depends on what they might deliver for somebody else. And
they're going to deliver
for someone. I mean, you know what I mean? I think
I'm in the boat. Sorry to interrupt, but
no,
I'm in the boat. They got to deliver. It's a time like if they don't deliver, they're going to lose guys like
they got to deliver for
you
the.
You don't want to lose a guy like me. I'm telling you that right now. Like
you don't want to lose a guy like me either.
You don't want to lose a guy like Zaire. You don't want to lose a guy like Crap, even though you could talk a lot of shit about him. You don't want to lose a guy where. Everyone.
Well, no, man. Like, I had a very good, and we can maybe talk about this offline. I had a very good conversation with Phil, just recently within the last couple of days. Very enlightening conversation, and Phil is very abreast of things that go on in the community. Like you might be surprised. So,
Yeah, I
mean, and look, I've said this as well. I said this last week, even though, we were all had different perspectives of our conversations, but it was one of the things where I said, look, and I've said this, I've been saying this, that look, if Xbox doesn't show what they need to show for E3, then they're going to have a lot of people to not, to turn their back on them. And look, I'm not going to turn my back per se, because I'm still going to play on my Xbox. That's my primary console. But for me touting and saying, well, wait until 2019 for E3, that's going to be, ain't no shit being said like that no more, because obviously that everything that I've been standing up for, saying that Xbox is going to bring it, and they don't, then obviously everybody else was right.
Yeah, why? That's a good way of putting it down and breaking.
So
it down.
I gotta ask, this year make it or break it for E3?
Yes.
Well, but look, this is the thing though. Look, there's so many people there's so many of these haters in our heads. And look, I'm abrasive. I don't really care about what these dorks talk about. But the thing of it is, to me, is that look. If there's like if the show is really good and they do bring out some games, like if they do show Perfect Dark, they show another Killer Instinct, stuff like that, and they do bring it into our eyes, don't let these internet dorks come into your mind and say, oh, that still was trash, that's not enough, that's not enough, because to me, there's still going to be people, don't matter how hot the E3 conference will be for Xbox, there's still going to be people saying it was dog shit, it was trash. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's not,
and there'll still be people that get taken for a ride and say, that's the most amazing Final Fantasy VII for footage I've seen, and Shenmue 3 stole the show and won it.
Yeah.
You'll listen. At the end of the day, I think that you broke it down the best. If they don't deliver, you're just not going to be a guy that's going to say, "Wait for this." You're just
right.
You're disappointed. That's it. I'm not going to. And you're going to keep your mouth shut. Probably the same thing like me. You're just not going to. You're not going to push for them.
So I'm not saying wait for this E3 or wait for this E3. Yo, we had 1 year when exclusives didn't come out like they were the years before time. And I am sorry, I am not going to be Mr. Xbox apologetic and kiss the people's ass out in the community like, oh man, Xbox really needs to come out with these games when they had 1 fucking year.
Facts. I like that. Bot. Get mad, bot. That's what I like, man.
Yeah, but the problem,
I'm not going to put up with that.
But the problem with that is that we were told from 2014 to 2015 that they were putting money in and that they're going to make these IPs that they have, and Battletoads showed shirts and all types of shit like that.
And
people came to expect it. Now listen, I think I know a little more than the average Joe on the situation and maybe the internal workings.
Not smarter than the average bear, people.
Not that I just think I know it's I just think that the structure last year around this time and the questions that were being bandied about and the things that were said, even up to E3, was very troubling, and there were dark times for Xbox and as far as game creation. I think that they've learned though, or that they've come to the realization that they can't, just rely on being a last place organization and hoping that they get profit because they don't market or they don't third party market. They're
That's
just
crazy.
They're looking for scrapes of whatever. They're leftovers. They have to create games, they have to show them, and they have to build that mind share within the community. And this year is critical. This E3 is critical. There is no two ways about it. We're going to either come out of that show, hey, they did it, or
one second, Tim, I got you on that.
Hold up. King's Blood Gaming says Z wanted to buy my 1080 Ti. The lies you tell, brother. The lies you tell. So yeah, but listen, for video editing purposes only. But so do tell. I'm sorry. What you want to say about?
Oh damn, man.
No, you were going to say about you were talking about my point.
Yeah, I got you. Like with E3 being important. See, I'm interested in E3 because I think this is an E3 where Phil Spencer, like Crap said in the beginning of the show, he's learning. He hasn't been in this job. He's learning. Now, when he first came out, he said we're only talking about games like that are going to be out within like a year or so, right? I think he finally learned that no, you got to put that out there of what the future is about beyond that year. And I think that's why I'm interested in it this year for this year's E3. I want to see them, come out with that Fable. I want to see possibly that Perfect Dark reboot. I want to see what they have planned for, longer than a year in advance. And I think that's what they're going to do this year. Not only that, I feel that they're going to announce their mixed reality, but I am not taking away. This is an absolutely awesome year to own an Xbox. And I feel like when it comes down to it, there's a lot of people that love to talk doom and gloom all the time. And you got to look at like the bright side to this and see the variety in games that are coming out, the options in which we can purchase these games and play these games.
This should have been last year though. They had 3 games that they were promising this year.
That was last year.
Yeah, this is last year reincarnated. Yeah. If you don't see a problem with that, I can't tell you what to do. These are 3 games that have been delayed.
Hey, yo, listen, hey, Tim, that's some real shit, nigga, brother. Hold up, King's Blood. I read your $2. You said Z wanted to buy my 1080 Ti's. He's leaving the plan. I said, yeah,
leave another 2.
Yeah. I read it twice. Don't give me another 2, fuck nigga. But nah. Here's what I'm with you, Tim. Right at the end of the day, right? What we getting this year is what we supposed to have last year, right?
Yeah.
And whatever the case may be. So, I've always said this too. I said Microsoft had to come out and show something to give people that then incentive to invest in the console what their future has to come. So let me just say this. It's not the problem about showing games that are 2-3 years up. I've always said this. It's the problem when you cancel games, you have nothing to replace that game. So we had major cancellations on our side and nothing to replace them. We didn't get nothing to replace.
Or even losing a game like Street Fighter V. Where was that promised? We were supposed to be made up.
And we lost the next one. The next one is exclusive also. You know what I mean? So that, like I said, is the issue. I know.
Street Fighter 6 is going to be exclusive too.
Street Fighter EX, it's exclusive. Another one.
Well, it's not Street Fighter 6. It's Street Fighter EX. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's another
iteration. I think that's still going to PC. I'll probably get it on PC. But I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, regardless, I might get it on the 4. I don't know. But regardless, look, the point I'm trying to make is that what you guys are saying is that you don't want Xbox to fall into the PlayStation's pedigree, because that's what PlayStation has done. PlayStation has advertised these games and made it seem like these games are going to come out sooner than later. Look, we've had so-called hardcore PlayStation dudes to say that they DM Yoshida swearing that God of War was going to come out last year, and it didn't happen. So
who the hell was doing that?
Yeah, I'm not calling no names.
Wait. I know that is true.
You know I'm not lying. I don't be lying about this stuff. I don't be lying about this stuff.
I remember that shit.
Swore that God of War was coming because he said he had the inside information. He promised us, and he lied. And you know what I'm saying? The fact of it was, but you don't hear nobody saying, "Oh, L this person." Regardless, fact of it is that PlayStation is going to do what PlayStation does, because the PlayStation fan is a hell of a lot more patient than the Xbox fan. 2017 was not a great year for exclusives for Xbox, even though there was, at the end of the year, they came on strong. They had PUBG, which is not an exclusive. It's a third party. It's a third party, but it outsold everything in what a month's time than anything that came out in 2017. But the fact of it is that people still only look at what happened with this particular game, that particular game. Look, I get that. I get it.
People cherry pick facts, man.
Yeah, but people like to cherry pick, and then the whole thing about with how we look at how we're perceived of what Xbox. Look, good quality games take time, ladies and gentlemen. And look, I do want Xbox to go a little bit further and maybe show something. Maybe 2 years down the line, but 3 years down the line, even more. No, it doesn't make any sense, because the only thing that's going to happen, and that I'm right, because it's already happened with Cuphead, it happened with Quantum Break, it's happening with Crackdown, is that these games are not being showed they're not going to come out within a year's time. There are going to be people saying, "Well, I lost interest. That game is taking too long to come out." But they don't ever say that for the PlayStation, and that's bullshit.
In my life,
huh?
It's like saying someone, even though what's The Last of Us 2 may not come out until 2019, I can't hear someone saying that I've lost interest. The game is. It gets people excited. It gets people talking about it. You know,
dude, I remember BGST. Dude, I remember people in BGST saying, "I don't want to see no Scalebound again. I don't want to see no Crackdown again at E3."
No, come on, man.
I don't know, but I mean, that's
true. But you have to remember because this is a thing. It's called fatigue. It's called it's something fatigue. Yeah. So you got to really kind of be careful about that. Showing off shit a little bit too much.
Well, the thing that Sony was smart with doing with God of War and Detroit is that with every trailer that they had, they never had a release date. They never said 2015 or 18. They kind of left it blank. So they kind of left a lot of things up in the air. Microsoft has had so many delays on their first-party.
Chris, go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going.
But I'm just saying they've had so many first-party delays. That's the problem. Like all these games that we've been wanting are supposed to be out by now. You know what I mean? That's
what are you talking about. So PlayStation hadn't had any delays for any of their games?
They have. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we are worried as Xbox fans because we don't know after this point.
Let me ask you a question.
Why would we be worried?
K-Mega, let me ask you a question. If they came out with the 3 games last year and 2018 was as barren as it has nothing, what would you say then? What would you say about we didn't have any delays?
Well, I would have to call them out because E3, they touted a bunch of games that were coming out from that E3 until holiday of this year. So
what, like Deep Star Galactic? That's I mean, listen, those games don't hold weight. Ash don't hold a lot of weight. Listen, I remember in 2014, I used to argue with everyone on Twitter, a lot of Sony guys, okay, because they switched their tune. They were all about indies. They were all about multiplats.
Now we got indies.
Now, yeah, it was all about that, okay? I had guys comparing Flower to Titanfall to me. I had guys, and I always said,
for real?
The guy holds a grudge to this day. The fact of the matter is that you can't talk about games like Ashen and put them in the same breath as a game like God of War 3. I mean, you could say that they're both games, sure, but are they on the same level? They're not.
Hell no.
You're talking about a AAA exclusive versus independent game that looks pretty good, that might have a lot of elements that we like and is fun, and it's debatable on how enjoyable, but it's still not on the same level.
I can't wait to jump in on God of War, man.
But if my point is that if they had released all their games, there's still a dearth of games that they would have in 2018. 2017 was the dark spot. What I'm saying in my personal feel is that they have to make me confident that they're on the road this E3 to delivering steady content and no bullshit. I remember going into E3 last year and I told Crap and I told a couple of other guys, they got nothing. I said, they got nothing. I said, it's going to be the same thing. I knew it. And they really didn't have nothing because they had these games like Deep Rock Galactic that just don't hold a lot of weight. And I told people from Xbox that too. I said, don't give me 42 games. A lot of these games are coming to PlayStation and they have zero mind share. Like nobody knows what Ashen is. Yeah. Everyone knows what God of War is. And that's kind of the difference.
But Tim, I don't understand necessarily why you're worried though, because if you look
I'm not worried.
Hold on. Let me get into this real quick, man. And I want to hear what you say after that. All right, dude, with what Phil Spencer had planned, and he put out there, after the X came out, that what basically his plan was. He said, he wanted Xbox, the Xbox app on multiple platforms and stuff. So he did that. He wanted to deal with that whole power thing that everybody in social media was talking about.
Yeah,
it was the jet fuel in this generation. It was all about that power. So he took care of that. He said the next thing on the list is filling out the games, the exclusive IPs for the platform. So if he did 2 out of 3 so far and he's working on the 3rd, why would you be worried, man?
Not that I'm worried. Well, who said worried? I'm just saying it's make or break.
That's all I'm saying.
I personally listen. You have to draw a line in the sand somewhere where you say, okay, we've given you enough chances. Listen, Xbox fans are great. They've given Xbox some leeway, and it's not a lot, but I'm as fair as come with this. I mean,
right.
All I'm saying is they got. Listen, I go to E3 every year. Last year, if I'm in that position again, I won't go to an E3 again. But so that right there tells you that I'm not worried because I'm going to this E3.
I'll be there with you. Yeah, that's the plan.
Good.
Put me in your bag, man. I'll go with you.
But the point is that I believe that they're going to show, but they have to, because if they don't, like K Mega says, it's gonna break down that way, or they have to kind of come in and they gotta blow off. They have to have a good E3.
Dude, they've got to show Fable. They've got to show
Fable. Exactly.
They've got to show the new Halo, even if it doesn't come out. They got to melt our faces with this fucking thing.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna do that, man.
They've got to. They've got to.
I got to pay the bills. My man Floyd Mayweather dropped $2 in Super Chat. Thank you for $2, brother. Said tell L Mega to wait till E3. That's what he's going to say.
You tell him it's for me to shut my mouth. You got to pay more money to that. You know what I'm saying? Your broke ass. I ain't got to wait till with E3, the cash, man. When you want to give out some information, man.
Check this out, Mega. All you have to do is tell him I ain't got to wait till E3. I'm gonna sail there on Sea of Thieves, and then I'm gonna bash some zombie heads going through State of Decay 2, while I'm gonna jump from building to building in Crackdown 3, and then I'll make it to E3. Eventually, man.
Right. I mean, look,
Crackdown 3 is coming before E3.
Well, I hope they do, but I don't think it will. I think that they want to get that game right more than any other game. I mean, Sea of Thieves was very important to them, but of course, I think with State of Decay, it's State of Decay. It's gonna work how it's gonna work, and it's gonna be in the Game Pass, so it's gonna be fine.
State of Decay probably had the smoothest development out of any of the games coming out.
Absolutely, but for Crackdown, that is the game. Regardless of what some of these people that are haters of the Xbox, the cattle squad, as I call them, the people that follow the cattle, the herd, they are really anticipating to see. Are hoping that Crackdown fails, because if Crackdown delivers with that cloud on that multiplayer, then all bets are off. Regardless of what you may think about the single player or it looks cartoony, look, man, that game has ultra destruction and that game runs fluid on those servers. There is nothing that's going to touch that multiplayer wise, except for the third party. Nothing that PlayStation will bring out will have the type of impact that Crackdown will multiplayer wise. So that's just stating the facts. I don't see anybody. I don't even see how anybody can debate that.
Hey, Tim, let me ask you a question. In the alternate universe on a different timeline, what would you prefer to have? Sony's exclusives that are coming out this year, or Microsoft's exclusives?
That's
let's say we got Spider-Man.
I think
Spider-Man. We got God of War.
I want to be honest about this. Spider-Man to me holds the most weight out of all of them. So I would say Sony, for just, even though I like Sea of Thieves, I think Crackdown 3, if it is what it's supposed to be, which at this point we have doubt, I would go with Sony, just because of Spider-Man is the big deal. Like, personally, I think that God of War 3, I don't think it's going to do. I think it will do fine, but it's not going to be the hit that Horizon was. I think that.
I think so.
I think it's going to have some problems with the kid and some of the design structure. The design.
The boating, where you got to be in a boat for a long time.
Annoying, or there's no jumping. I think that people will. Fans of the series might push back a little, but it's also a transition that. If they want to make, they're going to make, and it'll work for the next edition of the series. But for me, Spider-Man, that's just like that's like if Xbox had like a Black Panther game or something like that. It was exclusive. For me, that would be fucking like so huge.
Okay, I'm with you.
That's Spider-Man,
Hey, Chris.
Yo.
If in an alternate universe, in a different timeline, Damon, you won't be judged for this. If you can either have Microsoft exclusives or you can have Sony exclusives on the Xbox, what would you choose?
Switch.
Here's the deal. As much as I think Sea of Thieves is great, I think it's going to be the hit that everybody believes it will be. It's a fantastic looking game. We haven't even seen X assets yet. We don't know what that's going to melt faces, right? My problem with Xbox's current lineup, because I was not a fan of the original State of Decay, because I want that more of an adult single player adventure, and I do like Spider-Man, I gotta say, I gotta take Sony's lineup.
All right. D Crap Gamer.
Xbox.
Thank you.
Sea of Thieves. I mean, it's my most anticipated game.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, you've never been. You were one of the guys.
I've not wavered off that. It's my most anticipated game. I got my Sea of Thieves controller. I got a pirate fucking hat. I swear.
You were the guy that said it would be the hit that it looks to be. Listen, I think that it's going to be a hit. Just there's going to be people that don't like the game, but I think it's going to be a hit. Just because of the streaming aspect, it's really a social game.
Hey, let me point out something in the chat real quick because they're like, Rise had no jumping, but there was no Rise previously that had jumping.
Exactly.
So this is like the first thing you do when you get in a God of War game is you jump around and you do the double jumps with the swords and stuff. I mean, I think it's gonna be a fine game. I got the
like. What do you think the Metacritic is? Like, you want to see like 80, guys?
82.
It's gonna be like a 90. Just because
I don't think that. I think 85, 83.
Oh, if it's that low,
we got a good statement here. Shout out to Corey Beach for dropping $5 in super chat. He said, "What's disheartening is do that to shitty games like No Man Lie. People will always question new IPs. I might have to get an X for Sea of Thieves."
X is a fucking honestly.
It's
a beast game.
Hey, go read the comment section in the fucking 4K Forza Horizon one, and the comments are surprisingly people like, fantastic. The X is brilliant, and so far Microsoft are achieving great results with backwards compatibility. This is another good one. Obviously, you'd expect Microsoft to have an array of impressive engineers, but fuck me, this is ridiculous. The X is something special. Kudos to Microsoft. I'm certainly no salesman for Microsoft, but upgrading my Xbox to an X was the best decision.
Yes.
This is why I love my Xbox One X and Microsoft at the moment. Not only providing great backwards compatibility for Sony 360 titles, but enhancing them to 4K. Like, everything is positive. The only people that are negative, and they fill our heads with negativity, are the Sony fanboys. The ones like Tim, this guy that's messaging me and you right before we go on the air with VG charts sales numbers for consoles, right? Like, they're the ones that are pissy. I couldn't like the sales thing.
Well, they're very insecure. Like, they've always been insecure.
It is.
Even in 2014, like when I used to have those arguments about indies and this and that, they were insecure then. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we're all Xbox gamers here. That's the platform that we gravitate to, that we play on, that we like. I mean, there's certain things with Sony that I can't deal with, and part of that is I just think the online infrastructure sucks. I think like the way, like, this little things like the quality of chat on Xbox is so much better. They use a higher codec, I believe, or whatever. They use more bandwidth for you know, just overall. I mean, you can't even change your name, and that's going to be their big. That's going to be something when that is announced is going to be huge. And it's gonna be lauded in the on. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
That's an E3 announcement right there.
That's a change in your name. Let's get the Xbox is doing little things like the changing of spatial audio on the dashboard, new sounds. They're doing avatars. They're doing things that, like, all these new things that you're adding, and that just goes dismissed. That's like, oh well, it's Xbox. They just do everything. Meanwhile, you have a platform that you can't even change your name, and when it happens, they'll act like it's the best thing. It's the same thing with external storage. Yeah. How long have you fucking went out with external storage and acted like that was okay? And you can
still only put a couple terabytes on there or whatever. So.
Fucking had guys telling me just stick a fucking a wire out of your fucking PlayStation, hang an external drive. Like, come on.
Hey, you still got people that say, why would you want to change your name on PSN, right?
Yeah,
maybe because your name was something motherfucker, and you get banned 8 years later.
You know what I mean? Your goddamn games.
Lose all your games.
Ron Lamont, I got a question for you while you're speaking of Chris Webber. Ron Lamont dropped another $5 in the chat. Appreciate it. Thank you. He said, if Spider-Man comes out in June, do you think it would be smart for Xbox to release Crackdown or State of the Game next to Spider-Man?
I think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's that old way of thinking has gone out the window. You know,
Game
if
Pass.
it's good, I mean, I guess, but if it's good, people will buy it.
Here's the reason why you can't release around Spider-Man is that if say like Spider-Man is a Metacritic 92 and State of Decay 74 and Crackdown's 82, you know, like that's what they're gonna run with, then that's people are gonna look and see
Spider-Man's going to be their holiday, I think.
Near holiday. They don't mess with holiday because of
Spider-Man's holiday release.
Like it's going to be that makes sense. They got God of War, which is going to be big. That'll carry them over.
They never release a holiday game though, so I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
they're not going to release Spider-Man. Look,
why would they? Because if you look at their holiday, they're attached to Red Dead 2 and Call of Duty.
August, September would be perfect for Spider-Man.
And COD is coming out, and this I think this is going to be the biggest COD
and Battlefield
in a
5
long time. And then Battlefield 5. I've heard rumors that Battlefield 5 is going to go to World War II. I don't know. I haven't seen.
That's what I heard. I heard it's going to be called Battlefield 2.
I heard
President.
Was it a Present Day? I thought it was Present Day.
I thought it was
Battlefield. The next Battlefield is World War II, and the next Call of Duty is current day Black Ops.
Yeah, that Black Ops is going to be. Call of Duty's back after that drop.
Battlefield will get murdered. Will get murdered from that because I love Battlefield more than I like COD, but everybody's going to be wanting to play a more modern game. As long as you ain't doing all the jumping around.
Is the COD sorry to interrupt, but is the COD marketing deal up now?
Nope.
I heard it was a 3-year deal, or is this the last year of the 3 years?
Well, it is a 3-year deal, but unless Phil changes his mind and sees the intelligence of
that's one game that he would be brain dead not to pick up.
I got 2 questions for you. Well, first of all, King's Blood Gaming dropped $2 in the chat. He said Xbox and PlayStation 30 frame games are for men with pocket pussies. PC leaders. Okay.
Thanks for the $2 and put that in your
$2 to say some whack shit like that
to your $700 TTI that you know.
Megan, they said
go crypto mine a little bit.
Yeah.
They said to you, Megan,
recoup some of that money, that $2.
They said, Megan, on a different timeline, in a different alternate universe, would you rather have Microsoft's exclusives this year or Sony's?
With this year's games?
Yeah.
I told you, Detroit is my most
you can choose all of Sony's exclusive. You got to swap. Would you keep what Microsoft has, or would you take what Sony has?
No. I keep what Xbox has.
No, you're just picking. You're picking.
But if you asking me which lineup so far that we know that what's coming for the PlayStation and what's coming out for Xbox, I told you one of my most anticipated games was Detroit. And that's you know what I'm saying, the PlayStation has the upper hand in that category. I'm not gonna waver. I'm an Xbox dude, but I'm not gonna fake the funk. I think Detroit's gonna be a great game, even though it's downgraded in graphics and shit. I'm not caring about that. I think Detroit's gonna be great. God of War, you guys already know how I feel about God of War. Send that shit to Hades. Spider-Man, I'm definitely gonna cop that. And then
No Days Gone?
No, Days Gone
ain't coming out until next year. Yeah, that's not
okay.
That's going to be a March. That would be their March game, and who knows?
Shout out to my man.
I get the lead to PlayStation PlayStation for their games this year because if I didn't see what this God of War was, I would have been like, I would have already bought the $150 everything for God of War. I
got it.
Yeah, I would have got the Super Edition, but no.
Hold on. This is a good comment here. My man, shout out to my brother Corey Beach. He says, I'm praying for the new Fable. I love the OG Xbox so much, and I want them to go back to those days. I want them to succeed like every other platform. Do you think Microsoft can get back to this, to where they were like the OG Xbox 360? You think it's even possible?
Those days are gone.
Yep.
Jesus.
My bad. My son just came.
What does that mean now? But what does that mean?
I mean, we're just not going to get those.
You're never going to be as popular. That I think you're just equating sales when you talk.
Yeah. If you mean sale, because
I'm just I don't even so.
A lot of people when they ask that question and they answer it, it's all about popularity. Like when you
the OG Xbox wasn't as popular as the PS2.
But it was new. But when you're talking about the 360 era, a lot of it's popular. Like when people thought of 360, it was more or less the more popular console
ever.
Ever. Like, are we ever going to even touch that, or what Switch?
I think maybe game wise. game wise.
I think you could do it content wise and feature wise, but I think right now you're gonna be kind of that console that it's just the console that people are gonna pick on. It's gonna be the console that people, take umbrage on with certain things and they don't with others. It's just we talk about media and stuff like that, but that all plays into it. You look at guys like Greg Miller and all these guys, they're all PlayStation fanboys. You don't have that on Xbox. Everyone on Xbox
do, but they're smaller people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're real small, right? But the popular guys are pretty much all PlayStation.
You don't like Ryan McCaffrey?
No, I think
He's definitely
Ryan
PlayStation.
Ryan has looked at that guy, but he's a far critical guy than those guys on Greg Miller, and they're not critical of PlayStation. They don't get Xbox One X. They don't talk about that. Like they're not gamers in that aspect. They're gamers. Hey, I like PlayStation. That's who my personality is, and that's what I make my money on. And you know what? It works for them. But the fact of the matter is that Xbox doesn't really have that. It doesn't have that clout anymore. It really is kind of a console that people like to shit on, and people like to shit on the brand or make jokes about it. I think it might take a while, maybe next gen or something.
Adam Sessler used to be that Xbox guy. Whatever happened,
but he was a neutral. That guy was pretty much
he was that's what you need to see out there, though.
He's the fairest guy that I think that he was bashed out because he said that he didn't think there was a big difference between 720p and 1080p.
Right.
I mean, he basically said the Xbox games he went against the grain that was world beating. Xbox getting killed. There was a thread on a NeoGAF where they ripped him apart. He didn't want anything to do with the industry anymore.
Yeah, they gave him death threats and everything else just because he talked about how Forza 5 he gave it a really high rating.
He gave it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, and then also that he said that there was problems with Rise, but he also talked about how stunning and graphically amazing how that game was, and how that game has a lot of potential. And they just ripped him to shreds. And he was like, and they weren't they like all of the old guard from that era. They kind of just separated themselves as gone, just like older YouTubers. Like they're not used.
So pretty much when G4 folded, that's kind of when the internet started running wild. Who's
an Xbox guy that we could all look at as a Greg Miller or a Colin Moriarty?
Crap Gamer. We got Crap Gamer.
You know what?
Next Gen was the one that started this shit, really, when you come to look at it. I mean, Next Gen was the one that was holding it down. I mean, there wasn't too many. I mean, if you want to talk about people that's older, higher echelon,
I'm talking about like popular. Like that.
Well, Angry Joe was an Xbox 360 guy through. Yeah. But then he just completely flip flopped because that's when I first started watching YouTube. Was when they started doing game trailers.
Boogie is a fucking PlayStation guy.
Oh yeah, he said he was a PlayStation guy from the get. But Angry Joe was a supposedly hardcore Xbox guy. He was always touting good shit from 360. He wasn't showing anything from
Larry.
And then all of a sudden he flipped the switch, and I was like, "What?"
Didn't get an Xbox One X.
Well, so and you know what? A guy that I love his channel.
Mooch?
Well, no, come on, no. Maximilian Doom.
Oh, Max is awesome.
He even worked on Killer Instinct.
Yeah,
and he doesn't show any gameplay from the one. And I'm like, man, did you sell your soul to the PlayStation? Great, because look, I've been everybody, if you paid attention to me, I always tout that the PlayStation 1 is one of my favorite consoles of all time.
Some great fighters on that.
Yeah, great fighters. And I've that's what made me a fan of Maximilian because of that. And I don't have a problem with representing PlayStation fighting games because PlayStation does have more fighting games than what Xbox does at the present time. And the thing of it is that look, but you can't show how great Injustice 2 looks like on the with the HDR on the X. Are you bought in like that? That kind of frustrates me.
I see that all that. I think it's kind of something where they don't really like to associate with Xbox because let's say he did do that and it was something that was really positive. Guess what? He'd have a lot of comments from the usual suspects that say, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? You know, you're playing this garbage and this and that." And he would get negativity thrown at him, and I think that does weigh on some people. Like, it's just easier to just back the more popular item or whatever.
Well, plus too, that's his business. You know, I mean, I don't, other than doing some of the stuff for Killer Instinct, I don't know what else he does for monetary reasons, but I know he, you know, makes a lot of money from donations and streaming and his YouTube channel.
I heard he was already a made man anyway. I heard he was already in the money. The people that knew him personally. Now that I don't know.
Maximilian?
Yeah, I heard he was already made in the money.
With him, I don't know the dude, but
I don't know, man. I would like to meet him personally.
I think it comes down to you know, people say that Sony has a better controller for fighters than PlayStation, and he does cover fighters.
I think what we're saying though, it's definitely, even in the media.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
In the media rounds, though, it's definitely Xbox is a black sheep in the community. It still is, and it could do the greatest thing in the world, and it's not going to get like any kind of it'll get dumbed down somehow. That's why when I talk about changing your name or getting external hard drive support or second step authentication, and all these type of things that are just like, you know, come granted with Xbox, you know, that's considered a big deal. Like when like the media like kind of like makes a big deal out of it, like they made a big deal out of external hard drives, whereas it's like that's the standard that you have. But with Xbox, you're fucking talking about power. That you don't have power, you're a resource hog, and you don't have power, you know, options, which they did a week later. But that's the type of the shit that goes on. You know what I mean?
To answer you, can make it. Corey shout out you for dropping 5 in the chat. He said, "Not true. Max plays what's that? Marvel
Killer Instinct.
Marvel
vs. Capcom Infinite
on the X as well as Injustice. I have not seen it because when he was sitting there talking last time, well, I looked at him not too long ago when he was talking about something else. But yeah, he was like he called the Xbox the X-Bone. I was like, what the fuck? Come on, Max. You're supposed to be neutral with this. Come on, bro. I love his
fucking developer from Ubisoft called it the X-Bone X.
Yeah, like come on, man. Like, come on, bro. But yeah, so if that's the case, I'll go back and I'll look. I didn't see him play DBZ on the X, but I will check it out. I will definitely check it out. Appreciate it, Corey.
All right. Well, did we cover everything tonight, fellas?
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Good show.
All right. So has Next Gen got his Xbox card back, or y'all still kicking out the guy?
No, you're getting your jaw broken.
Yeah, you
get your jaw broken.
You get your Xbox permit. All right, it's not the pass, man. Yeah.
Listen, shout out to everyone that rocked out with us today. Everyone that donated in the super chat. Thank you guys. We'll catch you guys during the week on all the shows that we do. And as always. If your grandmother got a fat ass, give her my number.
Yeah.
Appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you.
Later.